WHCS Channel 29 presents Peninsula Group AAA High School Football, the Ferguson Mariners and the Bethel Bruins. From Armstrong Field on the campus of Hampton University, this is Tim Cole along with Bob Hintz and A.G. Womble, and we are here to bring you the game of the week, the Ferguson Mariners and the Bethel Bruins. Bob, we've got two teams here that are struggling right now to find out what they're going to do for the season. Ferguson's had kind of a rough season. Bethel is still in it. What do we look for in today's game?
Well, first of all, we've got to find out which Bethel team shows up. We have seen Bethel play this year, and they've looked extremely well. Last week, Bethel team was not the team we have seen before. They missed assignments. They did everything wrong. I'm not taking anything away from Phoebus. Phoebus played a good game, but Bethel just did not play ball. Today is a very must-win for them, Tim. If they don't win today, they have no chance of making to the playoffs. On the other hand, you got Ferguson, which what the article newspaper said the best 3 and 5 team in the state this year. They can be a spoiler. They can come in and knock Bethel out, and they've got a good incentive. Coach Isley, who is the head football coach, coached with Coach Kaz. Coach Paul Macklin, the assistant coach, was over at Bethel, and Coach Brian Hebert was also over at Bethel. So you have 3 coaches coaching at Ferguson that had coached under Coach Kaz. So it's going to be a tremendous game. We got beautiful weather, so we're looking for a real good ball game.
We had a good game last week, if you're a Phoebus fan, that is. Bethel had a tough time. We expected a much better game between the two. It didn't materialize. Now Coach Kaz has to get his team regrouped if they have any chance at all for postseason play. For the Ferguson Mariners, as Bob said, they are probably the best 3-5 team in the district and in the state. They would like very much to upset the Bethel Bruins here and ruin their chances. We're going to return with the starting lineups, but first, A.G. Womble had a chance to talk to both coaches prior to the game.
All right, we got Ferguson coach Steve Isley. Steve, 3 and 5, big game today. Your thoughts playing Bethel today?
Well, it is a big game for us and a big game for them. We spoil our opportunity trying to keep them from making the playoffs, and of course they've got to win, I think, every one to make the playoffs. So I think it's going to be a crucial game for both teams.
All right, what do you expect from the Bethel offense today?
Well, I expect them to run the ball and throw. This is the first year I've seen a Bethel team throw as much as they do, and which is making it a little bit more difficult for us.
Any injuries going to be a factor today?
I don't think so, not right now. We've got some people that are hurt and everything, but we've been able to make adjustments so far.
Any special plays Ferguson might throw out there today?
No.
I'm not going to tell Coach Cox.
No, I don't think so. We're just right now trying to, refine everything that we put in this year and then just trying to work on that. There's nothing special that we're going to be doing.
All right, Steve, I think they quoted you in the paper having the toughest 3 and 5 team in the state, and we certainly wish you a lot of luck out there today.
Thank you very much. Appreciate it.
All right, got Bethel coach Dennis Kozlowski. Coach, you find yourself in a must-win situation. Your thoughts going into this big game?
Well, I think it's going to be a real hard-hitting ball game, and I think our kids are anxiously awaiting an opportunity to get back on the field after the way we played last week. And you're going to see Ferguson throw the ball a lot, and I'm sure they're going to try to run the option because obviously we made some errors trying to defense the option last week. We made some mental errors in that we didn't stay with the keys that we were supposed to, and consequently we just literally gave everything away last week as a 34-0 shutout that we endured demonstrated.
All right, had practice go this week. Is the team rebounded? Are they ready for today's game, you think?
Well, we started out very sluggishly, but we came on around the middle of the week, and that's that resilient spirit I think that our kids have and young people have, and I think we're looking forward to a real good ball game, and I think we'll do the job. I mean, it's a must game. It's a Division 5 game, which will give us an opportunity to get in the playoffs. So either we're going to do it or we don't deserve to be in anyhow.
Coach, good luck today.
Thank you.
Armstrong Field. This is Tim Cole with Bob Hintz and A.G. Womble, and we will give you the starting offensive and defensive lineups before we have the toss of the coin. And first of all, of course, the home team today is the Bethel team. Bethel Bruins are home, and Ferguson coming this long trek down to Hampton University. There you go. See first of all, I'll give you the Bruins on defense.
And starting for the Bruins, Tim, is Robert Jackson and Cotman at guards. At tackle positions, you have Brian Hargrove and Charles Nickens. At the defensive ends positions, Troy Fullwood, Todd Kelly. Linebacking for the Bruins is Marcus Washington, Valenza Bird. Cornerbacks, Steve Hodges and Robbie Robinson, and at safety is Tracy Barkers.
And for the Bruins on offense, the quarterback will be Brian Gwaltney. The fullback is Steve Fountain. Corey Hodge is the tailback. Flanker back is Bowens, or it could be, I'm not sure, Wes Tuning might be taking his place in the starting.
He will bring him in. They will rotate, Tim.
The ends are Orlando Crawford and Todd Kelly. The tackles, Marcus Washington and Shea Dixon. The guards are Charles Nickens, Brian Hargrove, and the center is Nick Washington.
And they'll be playing against a nice Ferguson team out here, Tim, today. And starting for the Ferguson Mariners, Coach Steve Isley is the head coach. He's assisted by Leon Byram.
Let me interrupt you for a minute.
Sure.
The referee you see there on your screen is going to be live.
Well, that's right, Tim. He's
broadcast today. He's going to give us the calls when they occur. At least we hope they will. All things will, if they go smoothly, they will.
Okay.
Continue. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt.
That's okay. Nose guard is Green. Tackles for the Mariners, Bailey and Lynch. At defensive ends, Ruffin and Harrison. At linebacking for the Mariners, Carter and Whitaker. At cornerbacks, Bell and White. At free safety is Singleton, and at strong safety is Patrick. They end up with the coaching staff is Bynum, Capps, Coakley, Hebert, and Macklin are all the assistant coaches for the Mariners.
And now we'll wrap it up with the Ferguson offense. There you see Coach Dennis Kozlowski, the head coach for the Bethel Bruins. And here we go with the Mariners on offense. Their quarterback will be DeJuan Harrell. The fullback will be Levant Davis. Terry Cobb is the tailback, along with Kevin White. The ends will be Singleton and Bell. The tackles are Walker and Dixon. The guards are Ruffin and Jones. The center will be Johnson, and the punter will be Singleton, Albert Singleton. And the Bruins have come on the field. As I mentioned this, we're going to have the toss of the coin momentarily, and we have Mike, the referee, and he has been most cooperative. We appreciate you want to mention the referee.
Yeah, Tim, when we got a chance, he's going to go out there, and hopefully he'll announce him when he meets with the captains out in the field. But refereeing today is Mike Robinson. He has agreed to have the microphone so that we can hear what's going on, and he's got an off and on switch, so we're at his discretion, which is okay. The umpire is Don Hurst. The linesman is Barry Lippincott. The line judge is Richard Rawls, and the back judge is Bernie Riesbeck.
And, of course, we want to mention again that from time to time we may see a play differently than the officials. But let me tell you something. The officials have the toughest job in the world out there, and they do a very good job. And I know Bob will echo that, in spite of the fact that he's an official baiter.
Oh, I have been known to bait a few officials in my coaching experience over Bethel High School. They used to call me technical hints, and that wasn't because I was so good at the technicals of basketball, but I was good at getting technicals and letting the other team shoot some baskets.
Let me mention to you the tri-captains for the Bethel Bruins have Todd Kelly, number 88, Melendez Bird, number 81, and Marcus Washington, number 79. For the Mariners, they are represented by number 25, Terry Cobb. Number 60 for the Mariners would be Galvino Green. And I'll see if I can pick up the other number. I believe that's 53.
Yes, it
that
is,
would be
Tim.
Johnny Carter. Let's listen up now while we listen to the referee.
Fellas, your other officials for today, Mr. Rawls is your line judge. Mr. Reesback is the back judge. Mr. Hurst is the umpire. Mr. Lippincott is the head linesman. Okay, you have any questions on the penalty, ask these guys, they'll let you know. Ferguson, since you are the visitors, we're going to let you call the toss. Who's going to call it? All right, you call it in the air. If I drop it, we'll flip it again. He called head. It is a head. You won the toss. You want to receive the ball. Which goal do you want to defend? Okay, turn your back to that goal, please. Ferguson has won the toss, and they're going to receive on this end. Guys, let's have a nice, clean game.
All right. Hey, that worked out pretty good.
It really did, Tim. And we're glad to have AG back with us. We missed him last week when
No, we didn't.
he stated, oh, we didn't miss him? But, you know, those people who watched the last week's telecast know that his wife gave birth to a 6-pound, 13-ounce young man whose name is Chase. Chase Goodwin Womble.
Womble. I was going to say his last name is probably the same as his daddy's.
Yeah, that's good.
Well, we're glad to have AG back.
Yes,
missed
we
him.
really are.
I was joking, obviously.
Well, we had trouble getting the team off the field. Every time we were there, it seemed like he talked to the Phoebus Phantoms. It was on a loss, and they won, and they said, we aren't going to leave the field till AG comes out here to interview some of us. So.
In games played Friday night, of course, this game is being played Saturday afternoon at Hampton University, the 28th of October, 1988. And the Hampton Crabbers continued their winning ways Friday night as they defeated Lafayette 41-0. And the Phoebus Phantoms continued on a roll as well as they defeated the Denby High School team 28-0. So it looks like Phoebus and Hampton have pretty much assured, and I say pretty much because it's not over yet, but they pretty much have assured themselves.
Well, Hampton, the worst Hampton can do is tie for the district. And according to the newspaper, that it says you win, all district champions qualify in the regional play, so they'll make it into the playoffs. And you notice that the Ferguson Mariners will stack their two running backs, as seen on the screen there, and the reason is they're trying to get the ball to number 4, Albert Singleton. That's who they want to get the ball to. And they will switch just before the kickoff and try to figure out where Troy Full, number 44, is going to kick the ball. And of course, they would want to get it in Singleton's hands if they can, Tim.
Incidentally, I lost 24 hours somewhere. This is Saturday the 29th of October, not the 28th.
That's okay, Tim.
Okay.
Set your clock back an hour.
That's right. Set my brain back a day. Taken by one of the up men, fumbled momentarily, and then taken down at the 26-yard line. In on the stop for Bethel was Wesley Tuning. And that's where the Mariners will start from, at their 26-yard line.
Tuning is a track man. He can get down the field real quick, and that's, of course, why the Bruins have him on that outside. And he got down there real quick, and, of course, the little mishandling of the ball allowed him to get down there, and they picked up just maybe a yard or two on that return. But it was a short kickoff, Tim.
Again, our congratulations to Hampton and Phoebus, victorious Friday night on their quest to Division V and Division VI championships. Student body left out to the 25, make that the 30-yard line. Carrying the ball for the Mariners was number 25, Terry Cobb.
And he'll carry the ball for the most part, Tim. I talked to Steve Isley before the ball game, and he says, we will do some option. And I said, well, yeah, I can believe that because the option was very good for Phoebus last week against the Bethel Bruins. So you may see Ferguson run some option out there today. That was just a student body to the right side.
Out close to the 35-yard line.
That looked like number 32, Tim. It's Kevin White.
Kevin White starting. It's 3rd down and 3 now for the Mariners. On your screen there you saw Robbie Robinson, a two-way player for the Bethel Bruins.
Yeah, they got a full back house. They've got and they're just going to pitch it and try to get their.
This is Cobb, and he's got the first down as he crosses the 40 to about the 41. So Cobb did the same thing as he did 2 plays prior, as they all went to the left, to the near side of the field. And this time Cobb picks up the initial first down of the ball game.
And what they're trying to do, Tim, they're just trying to get more blockers out there than you have defenders, and they're trying to do a good job with sealing off. As we see the replay here, he just tackle is missed there and got some good blocking downfield.
Did a good job of finding the hole. Dwan Harrell at quarterback. Fumbles the snap. Ball is loose, and who's got it? They'll say Ferguson retains possession. So a fumble on the exchange from center.
And Tim, sometimes that happens because the quarterback steps out too quick, or the center is moving away as he centers the ball, and that's why it's always tough when you have a new quarterback coming in, because it's a little different.
We'll see it again real quickly here. You'll watch as the ball is snapped. You'll only see the last part of this. Ball was loose and recovered by the Mariners. No gain or loss on the play. It's 2nd down and 10. Trying the right side. Good head up tackle by Robbie Robinson.
Well, Tim, they did a good job. They'd be in Bethel that time of stringing it out and getting the defenders over there, because they had 3 or 4 blockers out, but the Bruins did a good job of watching the flow that time and only picked up a yard.
At game time, the temperature in the upper 50s. Sunny, no clouds in the sky. I guess you might say this was a perfect day for football, huh, Bob?
Oh, you're right, Tim. This is. The weather is right. They're not going to get too hot out there today, but it's nice and bright.
Pickup of about a yard, yard and a half. Call it 2nd down and 8. Harrell wants to pass, throws. He's got a man downfield, but he was covered by about 4 Bethel defenders.
And that was Singleton, and that's the one they're trying to get the ball to, Tim.
That was not even close, as you might suspect Harrell actually threw that ball away. If Singleton could have gotten to it, he would have been the only one. So 4th down and about 8. So we'll see Ferguson go into deep punt formation.
And Singleton is doing a punting for him, Tim.
Bethel puts a little bit of a rush on. Kick is a short kick, and it will not be returned by the Bruins as it goes out of bounds at about the 27-yard line.
Well, it took a good Ferguson Mariner bounce, because that bounced and then rolled about 10 yards after it hit. So we'll see what Bethel does. You know, last week they did a good job of holding the Phoebus Phantoms on the first series, but after that, they just like they did, they forgot how to play defense. So let's see if they can get their offense cranked up. Kyle said they had some, I believe in the interview, said the last couple of days they had some real good practices.
I've worked with Ferguson. I've seen Ferguson. Ferguson is no Phoebus. 32-yard line is the line of scrimmage. This is Corey Hodge off of the left side. Not much happening there as the Mariners were there. What I want to state a minute ago was that in high school football, if you're joining us for the first time, we play 4 12-minute quarters, not 15-minute quarters as you might be used to in college and pros. And, of course, everything else is pretty similar, except there are some minor differences in some of the
rule changes. Yeah, a little difference in rules and when the clock is stopped and that sort of thing. But
of course, we'll keep you abreast of that. Rodney Bowens comes near side of the field. Pitch back goes to Corey Hodge as he's racing for the corner, and Ferguson again does a great job of defending against that play. The 32 for the Mariners is Kevin White, and White came up and really stuck it.
He
right
really did, Tim, and he was running the ball a couple of plays before that.
Yep.
But it looked like Corey Hodge was going to be able to turn the corner and pick up some good yardage, but the Mariners are really fast in that secondary, and they come up real quick and stopped him. In fact, he lost almost by what he picked up the play before.
So we're back to the original line of scrimmage now. It's 3rd down and 10 for the Bruins, looking to rebound from that big loss last week. And in the backfield immediately, my gracious, Ferguson is fired up on defense. In there was number 81, Sean Lynch, and he was there as the ball was handed off. So the Bruins end up with a loss on this first possession. They'll end up going 4th down and 13.
And I'm sure that they was looking for a pass in that situation, and Kyles was running a draw play, but like you said, Sean Davis was there. Sean Lynch, I mean, was right there at the handoff on that draw play.
Todd Kelly, the all Mr. Everything for Bethel, will be back to punt. The left-footed kicker gets a good end-over-end kick. Fielded at the 30, fumbled, and the ball is loose, but I believe Ferguson will retain possession. Down quickly on the play, Orlando Crawford, along with Corey Hodge. And the ball was recovered by Ferguson.
I know that the Ferguson staff over there, a heart got into their throat there. It looked like they may turn that ball over.
Gonna watch a replay of it. Todd Kelly gets a good kick away.
He's a very strong young man, Tim. It didn't have much of a spiral on, but it really went down. But you saw right there that number 45 had a good chance of getting that. Steve Hodges had a good chance of getting that ball.
Mariners have it for the 2nd time. Big hole and a big gainer all the way out to the 49-yard line. Number 25, Terry Cobb, broke off a big gainer all the way to, well, they're going to mark it at about the 48.
Well, Tim, that's the first time that Ferguson has gone up the middle. They have gone outside the previous possession of the ball. They did everything wide. And this will see a good chance of just a quick hitter right up the middle. Turn around, just give it right to the second man through.
Oh, there was a hole there big enough for a truck.
Well, I think you and I could have run through that hole, probably side by side.
27 yards on the carry. Out to the 48, first down, Mariners, no score. Cross midfield, down inside the 45 to about the 43. The ball carrier is Darrell Patrick, number 22 for the Mariners.
Well, Tim, he picked up right close to the first down. That's about 9.5 yards he got on that.
5'6", 125 pounds. Take heart, little guy. There is a place for you in football. We're going to have a replay here. Watch as Patrick goes and cuts inside of his blocking. Good move there. That'd get him 7, 8 more yards. And breaking again, a big gainer down inside the 30. So we have, however, we do have a flag down, I believe. No flag, just the change of the sticks. So I saw all the officials ruling a stoppage of time. I was looking for the yellow.
Yeah, I was looking too and didn't see it, Tim. We're going to get to see a replay of this. It was off to the right side, and they have found something open, and you can see the hole there is really big as he carried the ball down before he got stopped across the 30-yard line at the 29.
That was an 18-yard carry for White. Misdirection play. This is Cobb to about the 25. So Ferguson is mixing up the plays very well. They're not going with just one running back. They're using all three of the running backs so far.
Well, Tim, and something else that if we watched Ferguson earlier this year when they played Hampton, they passed the ball a lot. And I asked Steve Isley prior to the game, I says, because it's kind of gusty out there, I says, will the wind bother you? He says, no, we're not passing as much as we used to. So he's got more confidence in his running.
And with that in mind, he will throw. That ball was out there for grabs, and he steps out of bounds, much to the disgust of the receiver, Kevin White. We do have the first penalty flag of the ball game, however. And that would be close to a first down. In fact, it would be a first down if the call goes against Bethel. Let's listen to the referee.
Yeah, that's against the Mariners. Illegal procedure, Tim. And you can see Mike Robinson there.
Watch this on the replay. It was one of those passes. If the Ferguson, if the Bethel defender had stepped up, you'll watch the replay here. This ball is kind of floated out there. Watch Dwan Harrell as he throws it out there. Right here,
we have illegal formation on the right team. Second down.
As you can hear him, that's good being able to hear. No doubt about what it was.
So it was against the Mariners, so needless to say, the play is called back.
Nice handoff right up the middle. The first one, he running that option, Tim. And I told you earlier that he feels that he can run the option against Bruins.
Levant Davis touches the ball and takes it all the way down to the 15-yard line. So again, Ferguson is using everybody to carry the ball. Davis picked up 15 yards on that play.
Now watch this quick hitter, Tim, right through the middle. And boy, you just about miss him. He's through that hole so quick.
First down at the Bethel 15.
That's number 32. I believe that's Cobb, isn't it?
Kevin White.
Oh, that's White.
Got to check your program. They got so many you can't keep.
I'll tell you, well, he's not giving the ball to just one ball player, and this is what a lot of teams thought, that Cobb is going to get the ball for the most part, but everybody who's picked that ball up today has run it well, and they're getting tremendous blocking from that Mariner offensive line.
That was an 8-yard pickup, second down and 2. Ball is at the 7-yard line. This is Cobb, tripped up. The ball comes loose, but he had already touched his knee down as Terry Cobb carried. So he'll have a first down. It'll be first down and goal for the Mariners at the 2-yard line. And that's 5 first downs for the Mariners on this drive. Watch the replay. You'll see Coming to the near side. Now watch when he goes down. You'll see the ball pop loose, but the ground cannot cause a fumble. Good call by the officials.
And the defense is right now for the Bruins is that goal line defense. They've got 9 men up on that line of scrimmage.
Diving over is Levant Davis from 2 yards out.
And it's just a simple dive play. There wasn't anything fancy to that, Tim.
So with 2:59 remaining here in the first quarter, Levant Davis dives over the middle and scores for the Mariners, and they crack the scoreboard first. On to try the extra point will be Gregory Beach, number 13. Beach's kick is long enough, and it's good.
Well, they come close to getting that thing blocked. The Bruins seemed to get in there very quick. It was just like he was slow with the spot of the ball from the snap. But we're going to see the replay of the touchdown. It's just a real quick, simple dive play. He just jumped over. All he had 2 yards to go.
70 yards on the drive, 10 plays. It consumed 4 minutes exactly. So Ferguson has shown you how you're supposed to do it. Eat some clock up, mix up your plays, everybody touches the ball, and you end up with 7. Those stats courtesy of our newest member of the team here, Jerry the Z Zopoulos. And we are rolling as we have 2:59 remaining here.
Well, I tell you, Tim, I know why you like Jerry, but he makes you sound good. I mean, you come up with these stats just like that.
I'm telling you.
But that is great. We're really glad to have Jerry with us.
And, of course, we will be following all Hampton City schools through the playoffs. So whenever possible, of course, if we have 2 Hampton teams involved on the same night, that'll be a little difficult. But we will be covering the Hampton City schools all the way through and hopefully to some championship play.
Well, this is Hodges with the ball.
That's Steve Hodges. And he gets out to the 30-yard line. So the Bruins trying to rebound from that devastating 34-0 defeat at the hands of the Phantoms last week right here at Armstrong Field. Need to get the offense untracked. And, you know, the same pattern set up here. Phoebus scored the second time they touched the ball last week. And this time Ferguson did the same. So we'll see if the pattern continues. Watch the replay of the kickoff if we have time here. Steve Hodges does a good job of getting it out to the 30.
Well, he's hit immediately and spins around and picks up another 5 yards after the initial contact was made.
This is Corey Hodge, struggling for about 3. Hodge, one of the better running backs in the district. And our congratulations continue to Hampton schools, and in particular Maurice Turner, who turned in a big game last night.
Had an excellent game last night. And he said that the reason he had a good game was that offensive line for the Phantoms.
You know that's the truth, because you can't do it without him. And we talked about that last week. Phoebus just was awesome against Bethel last week with their offensive line and their quarterback, Chris Witz, who I'm most impressed with. 3-yard pickup, 2nd down and 7 for the Bruins. Fake to Hodge. Now the quarterback has it. This is Gwaltney, and he'll be out close to a first down. It looks like he'll be just shy of the first down, depending on where they mark it.
If he's got the foot where I think it is, Tim, it's going to be about a half a yard short.
That's what it is, exactly.
And I don't know if that wasn't a cold play, just a quarterback draw. I'd have to, if we got that on replay, we may be able to pick that up, but that may have been a design play, Tim.
Scotty Bowers, our director, tells us that we do, in fact, have this on replay.
And you can see he just steps back like he's going to pass, and then he never did look downfield. It was a design play.
3rd down and about a foot. They need to cross the 40. Corey Hodge gets the pitch back. He gets the first down and is driven out of bounds at about the 42.
Well, that's kind of a dangerous play, Tim. The shortest distance between 2 points is a straight line, and you just have a half the distance of a ball to go. You'd think you'd go straight ahead, but Kaz is trying to outthink the defense and think they're going to stack it up in the middle. Maybe he could pop something to the outside.
So Hodge gets the first down for the Bruins, and that is, in fact, their first down of the ball game. Inside of a minute to go here in the first quarter. 7-0 Ferguson Mariners. Tim Cole, Bob Hintz, and A.G. Womble coming to you on Saturday the 29th of October from Armstrong Field on Hampton University campus. Gwaltney crosses the 45, close to the 46.
Well, Tim, he did a good job of faking out the defender that he was going to pass the ball, because he could have been thrown for a loss and end up picking up about 3 yards. But That was a heads-up play, because if he had not faked like he was going to pass it, he'd been tackled right away. And we can see that on the replay, so says Scotty. You see him coming back here, and he will fake the pass right there and gets the Ferguson Mariner to leave his feet.
And that got him an extra 5 or 6 yards from that point. The gain was, in fact, 3 yards. Man in motion is Tuning. And this one is completed at the 40-yard line to Mr. Tuning, Wesley Tuning, on the receiving end of that pass.
And that was number 4, Albert Singleton, making a tackle, Tim, and he almost lost the ball.
And you see Tuning holding his hip because he really got stuck by Mr. Singleton, but Tuning did a good job of holding onto that ball.
Well, he's coming out, and Rodney Bowens is going in, but we're going to see that on the replay. But he was really stuck, but he did a good job of hanging on to the ball.
Well, watch him. He's on the top of your screen. Now, Gwaltney sets up and his back foot slipped momentarily, so he did a good job of getting away, but then he really caught a shoulder. Ooh, that hurts.
It really does, but the change in ends now, Tim, that's the end of the first quarter.
So we've played 12 minutes, and the Ferguson Mariners are on top 7-0 on a 2-yard dive by Levant Davis. And we're going to have AG down on the sidelines. He's going to talk to the Bruin. Take it away, AG.
Okay, we're down 7-0 now. What's it going to take to get back in this game?
A lot of experience.
All right, Richard Reese here, the Bethel Bruin. What did you have to do to get this job here?
Well, it was just one of those things. I would just talk to Coach Kaz, and I asked him, could I do it one time? And then after that, everybody said I did all right, and so I kept on doing it.
You get to be around the cheerleaders all the time?
Yeah.
Good job. Good luck to y'all.
Thank you.
AG is in 7th heaven.
And he's also, AG is trying out for the Bruins job next week.
He wants to be, he gets around the cheerleaders anyway, doesn't he?
38-yard line. Second quarter just about set to get underway. And this is Corey Hodge as he drives to the 33, or rather 34-yard line. Now they'll mark him actually at the 35. Pickup of 3. Corey Hodge in the first quarter carried the ball 5 times for a total of 6 yards. Also in that quarter, Gwaltney had 2 carries for a total of 10 yards for the Bruins. Where's my mom?
Well, they got us on camera, Tim, and that's great. I tell you, this is a tremendous facility they have here at Armstrong Field. I just wish there would be more fans out here.
Another sparse crowd on hand for today's game. Gwaltney fakes, sets up, wants to pass, completes the pass to big Todd Kelly at the 25-yard line.
And that was a good job. He never looked at Todd Kelly until he was ready to throw the ball. So the defensive backs could not read his eyes. And that was really good job that Gwaltney did that time. And I've noticed one thing, Tim, is Gwaltney's been in the whole time. I have not seen Troy Fullwood playing quarterback, which we did last week. Seen him, Coach Kaz roll him in a few times.
First down for the Bruins at the 25-yard line. Todd Kelly on the receiving end. This is Corey Hodge, right side, and he's taken down hard by none other than the littlest guy out there, Darrell Patrick, 5'6", 125. He runs the ball and then he plays defense too. This kid has got to have a lot of heart.
He is really playing a good game, isn't he? What's that number?
22.
22. Yeah, that's. If I remember when we did the Ferguson game with Hampton, Sam Still says, watch number 22. He was just all over the field, and he sure was, and he is today.
Held the gain to a little more than a yard. Second down and call it 9. Gwaltney, bursting through is Corey Hodge. He's going to race for the corner, and he's going to get in. So Corey Hodge goes 25 yards, check that, 24 yards.
Tim, that was an excellent move after he broke through the line of scrimmage. He got the Mariner defense flowing to the left, and they cut that back on a misdirection. And once he got through the line of scrimmage, he had one guy to beat on a quick move of his hips and just kind of left him standing, and that raced the other defender into the goal line.
Troy Fullwood will try the extra point out of the hold of Brian Gwaltney. We'll hopefully show you that replay in just a moment of the touchdown. Fullwood's kick is long enough, and it's true. It's right through the uprights. So with 10:10 to go in the first half, the Bruins have come back with a drive of their own, and they're on the scoreboard. We're tied at 7.
And we can see that replay on this watch him once he pops through the line of scrimmage on this misdirection. We caught the end of it, but he just outruns the man into the end zone there. But he made a good move on the linebacker, Tim.
We've got some time. We may rewind that one and look at it all the way. This was a 70-yard drive, just like the last one, identical, except this one took 49 seconds longer. This was 4:49, 70 yards on 10 plays for the Bruins. They don't care how many plays it takes as long as the last play he puts them in the end zone.
That's right, Tim.
So 10 minutes, 10 seconds remains here in the first half, and we're knotted up at 7. A game that Bethel must win if they wish to have any hopes of postseason play. Ferguson's hopes are by the board, so all they can do at this point is continue to be the spoiler.
And Bethel's got a long, hard road to hoe. Not only do they have to beat this Mariner team, but then next week they have to beat Hampton.
They did that last year.
They certainly did.
You can never tell when the Hampton and the Bruins get together, and that game will be next Saturday afternoon at Todd Stadium, and we will be there, and we hope you're out there to watch it in person.
It'll be a 2 o'clock kickoff, Tim.
Fullwood gets all of this one. Fielded and fumbled at the 8-yard line, then picked up again. This is big number 4.
That's Singleton there, and he carries it back to the 25.
Albert Singleton, and he is a big kid, 6'2", 195. So Ferguson will have the ball on offense again. The Bruins, on that drive, got 4 first downs on that 70-yard drive. Watch the replay of the kickoff again. You'll see that Singleton will field it at the 8 and then fumbles it momentarily.
Well, he picks it up and almost broke this thing, but he made a different, if he had cut to the right, he might have been able to get through.
And we've got illegal procedure now, I believe is going to be the call. We'll wait and let the referee actually tell us.
Take the penalty, sir. I'll go.
We have a dead ball foul. False start on the right. First down. Against the Mariners, make it first down and 15 from the.
Yeah, he comes through good, loud, and clear. The official does on that, Tim, and it's really nice to be able to hear that because we have been sometimes when we don't know what is going on.
With a quick hitter all the way out close to a first down. That was a real strange play, and it looked like for a moment the quarterback had been dropped before he handed it off.
It really did, Tim. That was
Terry Cobb got the handoff, and fortunately for the Mariners, he got it as quickly as he did. Let's watch it again. Watch this. You see Melendez-Bird shoot the gap there as he blitzed right in there, but fortunately for the Mariners, they had the right play called.
Well, they most certainly did, because once he got through the line of scrimmage, there was no linebacker there because Bird is already gone.
Cobb picked up 14, and now Dwan Harrell is sacked in the backfield.
Well, you can see what the Bruins are doing is they're starting to shoot their linebackers, Tim, do some stunning up there and try to confuse the blocking assignments of the Mariners.
Nickens and Washington were there. And we'll watch this again.
And you can see we just see the tail end of it, but there were 2 linebackers right up on it. It was like they were going against an 8-man line.
So a loss on the play, back to the 30, a loss of 4. And it's 3rd down and 5. Pitch back comes to Cobb, and he's tripped up on a good defensive effort by number 53 for the Bruins. That is Todd Hall, who reached out there and tripped up the running back and stopped the play cold. In fact, a 2-yard loss.
Well, that brings up a kicking situation. So Singleton, number 4, goes deep into punting formation for the Mariners.
Back deep for the Bruins will be number 45. That's Steve Hodges.
And he's got the win. Any win, he's got it to his back. So if he gets a good foot on it, he should get. Oh, bad kick.
Shanked it off the side of his foot. It's going to take a Ferguson roll, though, and it'll go out of bounds at the 46-yard line. So the Bruins will have good field position to start this possession. 7:43 is the time remaining here in the first half. We're tied at 7. The Ferguson Mariners got on top first with 2:59 to go in the first quarter. Lavont Davis going in from 2 yards out. Then the Bruins followed a 70-yard drive with a 24-yard run by Corey Hodge with 10:10 to go in the first half. And that's how we stand right now, 7-all. Brian Gwaltney is the quarterback. He fakes and now gets some pressure, dumps it off, and it's completed. No, they say incomplete pass.
Well, which is probably good for the Bruins, because had he caught the ball, he'd have lost 4 yards on that play.
Well, now they're going to overrule the official that said it was incomplete, and they're going to say it, in fact, was complete.
Oh, so he did catch the ball and lost.
Well, now they're going to move it back to the line of scrimmage. So for a moment there, they thought that it was going to be ruled complete, and then they changed their mind again. That's all right. They're allowed to do that.
Sure they are. But that was about a 5-yard loss had he caught the ball. That was a real quick screen pass, but he got a lot of pressure from the defender and just never got a lot onto the ball, throwing it off his back foot. Didn't get much zip on it.
2nd and 10 from the 46. Pitch goes to Hodge. Hodge cuts inside, gets about 7.
Well, they're running them with a little bit more confidence right now. The Bruins are. And, of course, the offensive line is doing a little bit better job of blocking, open up the holes for the Bruins too, Tim.
Gain of 6 yards on the play. Line of scrimmage was the 46. They move it to the 47 of Ferguson. Watch the replay. So Hodge ends up with 6 yards on the carry. And it's 3rd down now, 3rd and 4 for the Bethel Bruins. This is Hodge right up the middle. He gets the first down as he gets to the 43-yard line.
Well, he really struggled and did some extra effort to make sure he got that first down, Tim.
They mark the ball at the 43. First down for the Bruins. Watch the replay. You'll see Hodge uses his quickness. Gets to the hole and then keeps driving through a couple of arm tackles, and you're not going to stop Hodge with an arm tackle.
No way. Most of these runners out here, you're not going to get with the arm tackle, or either team.
43-yard line, the line of scrimmage. First down for the Bruins. Corey Hodge again cuts it inside, gets to the 39. Over there on the stop for the Mariners, number 24 is Levant Davis, who once again is one of those people I have a great deal of respect for, is your two-way players. These guys play 60, or not 60, but 48 minutes of play almost every week.
They do that, Tim, because they have both teams have a lot of both-way players.
There you see Hodge, and there you see the good stick by Levant Davis. Line of scrimmage, 39-yard line, pickup of 4, 2nd and 6. This is Hodge. Oh, my goodness, Mr. Hodge is met hard by number 34, and that would be Derek Whitaker. And if we have a replay of that, you'll see Hodge going into the middle of that line, and then Whitaker says, hello.
Well, he's 6'2", 210, Tim.
He was waiting for him. I mean, he was there.
He was really waiting for him.
Watch this on the replay. You'll see where Hodge goes into the middle. Right here. Boom. Good heads-up tackle by the Mariners.
To keep this, this is a very important 3rd and 5 to keep this drive alive for the Bruins.
Almost picked off, as the intended receiver was number 89, and that is Orlando Crawford. Ball thrown a little bit behind him, and now the Bruins are going to call a timeout.
Well, Tim, they're in a situation here where he may think about going with in a 4th down situation. And we'll see the replay, and that was number 42 that was blocked, that stepped in front there and knocked the ball away, and I don't have him on my roster. I'll try to pick up who number 42 is for the Mariners.
No, it's not on mine either, so we'll call him John Doe. I'm told that hopefully right at halftime, which is 5 minutes and 17 seconds from now, we will see that man in the middle of your screen, Dennis Kozlowski, the highly successful coach at Bethel, and he will hopefully have moments to discuss the first half of action with our on-the-field reporter, A.G. Womble, Daddy Womble to those of you who know him. A.G., of course, a new father as of last Saturday.
Well, actually, it was Friday when the baby was born. Right. Number 42 is Anthony Outlaw, Tim. I went and found out who he was. I want to make sure we give credit where credit was due.
We remind you fans that our next game will be next Saturday at Todd Stadium. The Hampton Crabbers and the Bethel Bruins, the big annual showdown of these two teams. 4th down. The Bruins are going for it. Gwaltney steps up in the pocket, and he's going to be thrown for at least a no-gain play, and the Mariners have held, so they'll take over on downs.
Well, Tim, he only sent out 2 receivers. Tooney, number 1, and 89 Crawford were the only 2 receivers, and there were 4 defenders back, so there was nobody was open, and he tried to go forward on a quarterback draw and was stopped, and so they do turn the ball over.
We'll watch it again. You see, he had time here. Then he gets some pressure, and he steps up. It looks like he may have some running room. And then he's caught from behind by 44, Larry Harrison. So the Mariners take over now on offense. And the ball comes loose. Are they going to say it was whistle dead? Yes, I believe they will.
Well, the Mariner came up with it anyway. Number 50, I believe it is, for the Mariners came up with the ball. That's I'm sorry, no, it's not Jackson. It's Roderick Ruffin, who is a guard for Ferguson.
Pickup of about a yard for the Mariners. 2nd and 9. 4.5 minutes to go here in the first half.
And you can see number 81, Melendez-Bird, getting up there jumping around, and he is just shooting the gaps.
And he shot it prematurely, and in high school ball, we talked about rule differences. That is one. Defense, you can move around, but you cannot enter that zone a yard on either side of the ball.
Got a dead ball foul, encroachment on Bethel, 2nd down.
And so what that does is really helps the Mariners out. They had a 2nd and 9. Now they got a 2nd and just a little over 4. So that's good for them. But you can see on the replay there that Melendez-Bird stepped. He can't get in that neutral zone.
Now the difference, as I mentioned, the difference in the rule is in college and pro ball, you can enter that area as long as you get back before the ball is snapped.
Absolutely.
But in high school ball, you cannot enter that area, period, once the ball is set for play. Pitch out to White.
And I believe he's short. Tim, I believe he's just a little bit short of the down marker. It's going to bring up a 3rd and short, about a yard and a half.
Terry Cobb was the ball carrier for the Mariners. They mark it at the 46. They need to get to not quite the 48, so it's a little less than 2 for the first down. Mariners and the Bruins knotted up at 7, 3:52 to go. And with the first down and then some across midfield. Carrying the ball for the Mariners, 32 is Kevin White this time.
Kevin White, yeah. And you'll see we have not been able to see one back who's been consistently carrying the ball for the Bruins, for the Mariners, as we have for the Bruins, where Coy Hodge has carried the ball probably 90% of the time. And the Mariners have been just distributing the ball equally among their running backs.
First down for Ferguson. In motion is Levant Davis. This is the little guy struggling for some yardage. Ball comes loose, but again, the ball had been blown dead, and that's Darrell Patrick carrying the ball. Fullwood over there on the stop for the Bruins, along with Kevin Cotman, a name we haven't called a lot today. Cotman, of course, was my pick last week as the player of the game for Bethel in the losing cause against Phoebus. Kevin Cotman and Melendez-Bird both doing a great job on defense in spite of being on the wrong side of that 34-0 score. Pickup of a yard, 2nd down and 9 for the Mariners. Another big gainer.
Tim, that was just a misdirection, or what we call a crossbuck or a counter play in the backfield. But the Bruins are spread out defensively, and they've only got one linebacker in there. They got that 5-man front, one linebacker, and everybody else spread out. Once you get through that line of scrimmage, you're going to pick up 4, 5, 6 yards before you run anybody. You can see here that he fakes to the one side, one quarterback or one back, and then hands off to the second back through number 25, and away he goes.
That's Terry Cobb.
That's Terry Cobb.
13-yard pickup for Terry Cobb. 9 carries for 65 yards here in the first half. On the keeper, flag goes down. This is Harrell as he struggles to get across the 30. But a flag is down at the line of scrimmage.
And Tim, that probably could be holding, or because that's usually what happens from that side, either holding or premature movement. But we'll see what the call is. It looks like it may be against the Mariners. I don't know. Mike Robinson is talking to the Bruins, so you can see right there on the screen, number 81 is Melendez Bird, and that's who he's talking to. So you know they're going to take it back. They got a, and it may have been a holding call. I don't know, like number 72 or somebody. I don't know exactly what happened there.
Well, you can see it there. One of the Mariners literally fell on top of a...
Illegal use of the hands on Ferguson. First down. First down and 20 from the Bruins 45.
So it's a major penalty, Tim. So it's a 20 yards now for a first down.
So they lost the gainer and then 10 back the other way. So it's first down and 20 for the Mariners. 2:06 remains here in the first half.
That's the first time we have seen the option.
Harrell getting pressure from Fullwood. He didn't see Fullwood coming, and Fullwood gets the sack.
And he lost another, looks like about 7 yards from that point, Tim, because the ball was spotted at the 45, and he's back to the, was that the 49?
They mark it, in fact, at the 48, so it is a 7-yard loss, as you said. Fullwood coming from the far side of the field. We'll see the replay, and Harrell just never saw him. Harrell, as you see on your screen here, was looking downfield and then going in that direction, and then Fullwood just said, "Hello, Mr. Harrell," as he drove him into the ground for a 7-yard loss.
Oh, he did that, Tim.
Minute 25, clock is moving. Ferguson is going in the wrong direction if you're a Mariner fan. And it's second down and 27. Harrell again is in trouble and taken down. In there first was number 77, and that is Charles Nickens. And then the coup de grace was finished off by number 20, check that, 53 would be Todd Hall. And the Mariners continue to go in the wrong direction. They need to get to the 25 of Bethel. Watch this again.
Well, Tim, I'm sure the Mariners want this clock to get out of here so they can get out of this situation. And I can't understand why. Oh, it's third down, so, gee, man.
Third down and a ton. 33 to go for the first down. Two receivers to the near side. Harrell has nothing in mind but pass. He throws long downfield, and it's almost intercepted by Robbie Robinson. The intended receiver downfield was number 32, and that would be Kevin White for the Mariners. So
well, that was a good pass, Tim. That was right there. It was catchable. Each one of those two young men could have caught that ball.
There you see the Ferguson Mariner heading off, and we'll watch the replay. Harrell had nothing else in mind but pass from the minute the ball was snapped. He's got plenty of time, and then throws downfield. And it was a little long, and as I said, Robbie Robinson had a pretty good shot at it. Good job, camera crew, and instant replay man, Mr. Joe Lewis. Oh, my goodness, mishandled by the Bruins. The ball is being kicked around. It's still loose, and then finally fallen on by the Bruins.
Bruins finally got that ball.
That was almost a disaster for Bethel.
It sure was.
That's Steve Hodges who ended up with the ball for the Bruins. It looked like Ferguson committed that ungodly sin of trying to run with it before you pick up the fumble.
And see, you cannot advance the ball if you're the kicking team. You can down it, but you can't advance it, and that's what he was thinking about. I'm sure was picking it up and running it. Had he just downed the ball, that would have been the Mariners' ball with 14 seconds and a chance to maybe get a score.
Well, that's going to be the last play of the first half because they've wound up the clock. There you see they were trying to pick it up. The ball kept, well, now they call a timeout. So apparently Kozlowski decided he did want one more try here before halftime with 3 seconds to go.
Well, it's got to be a Hail Mary type of pass, Tim, because you know that the Mariners are going to be deep and they're not going to let anybody get behind them.
There you're watching as Coach Kozlowski, or at least you were watching, as Kozlowski was in the huddle for the Bruins. And then, of course, Steve Isley, the head coach for the Ferguson Mariners. As you said, this kind of homecoming of sorts for a lot of the coaches for Ferguson.
It really is, Tim.
Worked with Koz over at Bethel before.
I remember when Steve Isley first was over there, was the weight coach for the Bruins, and then coached with Coach Koz, as Paul Macklin did for many, many years ago. He had a brother that was on the first state championship of Bethel in 1974, and then Brian Hebert was also coached back in the 70s over at Bethel High School.
You know, I don't think we mentioned this, but this is homecoming for the Bruins. 3 seconds to go. And Steve Hodges gets the call, and he's got a big gainer. but he won't be able to go all the way as Ferguson was in somewhat of a prevent defense. But from the 21-yard line all the way out to the 47, Steve Hodges there. AG, you got Kaz with you?
Yeah, Kaz, second half, what type of adjustments might you make?
Well, you know, defensively, evidently we're making some errors because they moved the ball on us in that first drive. I think we've ironed some of them out, but still, we've got to be a little more productive offensively, and of course, we got to shut them down. They can't maintain control of the ball on us.
Good luck in the second half, Kaz.
Yeah, well, he's right there, Tim. He's got to make some adjustments, and they made some adjustments by bringing Melendez-Byrd up there and taking away some of that blocking assignments for the Mariners, but they cannot allow the Mariners to have the ball and control it as many times they have. And here's the replay of that with Hodges.
Steve Hodges had 2 Mariners he had to get through or by, and of course, as you'll see at the very end here, he just couldn't. They sandwiched him after a big gainer for Hodges. He made 27 yards on that play. And AG, you got somebody else down there?
We'll get you after Tom.
AG, who you got with you now?
Yeah, we got Tom Bailey. Tom, 7-7. Your thoughts on the first half?
Well, you know, this week I was proud of the guys. You know, last week they came out, they looked lethargic, they looked dead the first half.
Looked like they were ready to play today.
I think they are. You know, they're excited about homecoming. I've been out all week with some kind of infection, and so I'm feeling a little bit better today, so I had to come out for homecoming.
Predictions on the second half, what's Kaz going to do?
I think he's going to come back, stay in the game plan, run the ball, and his offense is set to try to move it down 3-4 yards at a clip and have the big play materialize off of that.
Beautiful day for homecoming.
It couldn't be better. Couldn't be better. And the kids look super, don't they?
Right. Tom Bailey. Thank you, Tom.
All right, AG, thank you for that, and we'll head into our halftime activities, but our reminder here at halftime, our score, we're tied at 7. The Ferguson Mariners and the Bethel Bruins will be back with second half play and first half statistics. But first, let's take a brief timeout.
All right, we got the homecoming queen, Lisa Walters. Must be a big day for you. Your thoughts?
Yes, it is. I'm really amazed and honored to be the homecoming queen this year. I really didn't even think I would make the court, and I'm really happy to.
What was it like waiting out the first half?
I was nervous, but I really did not even think I had a chance.
Great, you're doing a great job as homecoming queen. They couldn't have picked a better one. And Al Gills, homecoming king. Your thoughts? Quite an honor.
Yes, I'm privileged to be the homecoming king, and I've had 4 good years at Bethel, and I'm glad it's topped it off.
Who's going to win this football game?
We are, I hope.
All right, Jerry Pierpont, your thoughts on these 2 young people?
Hey, nice kids, and quite obviously they're very popular with the student body, and I think we've got a good selection for king and queen here.
All right, Al and Lisa, congratulations. Great job. Thank you. Al Gills and Lisa Walter.
Back at Armstrong Field, Tim Cole with Bob Hintz, and we've had the proceedings here at homecoming. Bethel's homecoming. 7-all is our halftime score.
Oh, we're rolling, Tim.
We're rolling.
So we're on.
Right.
We got a 7-7 score here. You got some halftime stats for us, Tim, from our statistician, Jerry Z. See what we got. Okay, here are stats coming up on the screen. And as you can see, the first downs.
And I can hear you now.
Okay, go ahead, Tim. You've got the stats right there in front of you. Go ahead and do it.
All right, first downs, 8-6 in favor of the Mariners. You can see from the stats that it's a pretty close game, as the score indicates. Bruins with 77 yards rushing, Mariners with 108 yards passing. The Mariners have none, and the Bruins have 26. Total yards, very close, as you see. Bruins with 3 fewer yards total than the Mariners. The attempts at passing, the Bruins 2 for 4. The Mariners have yet to complete a pass. And no interceptions in the ballgame. Third down conversions, the Bruins have
converted 2 of 4, while the Mariners 1 of 4. Penalties, very limited number of penalties in the first half. As you see in the time of possession, the Mariners having the ball about 5 minutes more than the Bruins. Individual leaders at halftime, Corey Hodge had 12 carries for 39 yards. Gwaltney had 3 carries for 11 yards, and Steve Hodges capped the first half with that 27-yard run. For the Mariners, Cobb carried the ball 9 times for 65 yards. White 5 times for 32. Harrell was sacked and showed a minus yardage of 17 in the first half. Patrick had 10, and Davis with 18, including the 2-yard touchdown. And we are underway. This is Steve Hodges, and the ball is stripped away from him, and the Mariners have come up with it.
Oh, he did, Tim. That was an excellent play on that Mariner. He just went for the ball and stripped the ball right out of Steve Hodges' hands, and the Mariners take over, and that was a kick by Beach, number 13, and it looked like the Bruins were going to end up with decent field position, but they do not have the ball.
All right, I understand, AG, you got some Phoebus players down on the sidelines.
Yeah, real quickly, Tim, Bob, we got a couple of the few of the Phantoms here. Booker Cox, a big win. You guys in the playoffs. Your thoughts on that?
Well, it's nice and everything, but we trying to go to state.
Tim Williams, what about it now? What are you guys going to do the rest of the season?
We're just going to take one game at a time and play hard in the playoffs.
All right, after this play, maybe we talk to Mike Artis here.
Yeah, talk to Mike Artis. That young man does about everything down there.
Mike, Tim and Bob just saying you've been doing everything this season. Your thoughts about the way things are going right now?
Well, I like the way things are going right now. We're heading to the playoffs. I think we can go into the playoffs and go all the way, I hope this year.
3 years in a row for the Phantoms in the playoffs.
Yes, it's been a great feeling for us. New attitude.
You guys got a great program going. Good luck to you. Now, we'll be following you on Channel 29. Thanks a lot.
I know he's glad to talk with him because he wasn't here the last game, Tim, because of the birth of Chase. But
AG standing in the hole down there, or are those guys up on a platform? Those football players are tall.
I think AG was standing on the platform. There's some big young men down there he was talking to.
All right, we're in a 3rd down situation on the turnover, the first turnover of the ball game. 3rd down and about 3 for the Mariners. Just underway. We're knotted at 7 here, just the moments into the second half, and driving for the first down and apparently getting the first down.
Yeah, he had to get across the yard marker, Tim, and it looks like he did. And it is a first down, as we see being signaled by Mike Robinson, the referee. Wrong.
Old stuff, huh?
Old stuff, Tim.
Mike
there he
Robinson's a ref. I knew that. I called it himself earlier. That was an old sheet. All right, first down for the Mariners at the 25. Dwan Harrell is the quarterback. This is Terry Cobb, number 25 for the Mariners.
Well, Tim, he was hit at the line of scrimmage, but just broke the tackle and ended up picking up about 5 or 6 yards.
Cobb has good power for his size, 5'9", 175 pounds. He does a good job of carrying tacklers with him. We'll watch the replay.
And you'll notice that he gets hit just as soon as he gets the ball. We're just catching the end of the replays today. But you're right, he does a good job for his size.
2nd down and 3 after the 7-yard gain. This is Levant Davis. And he's down inside the 10, and it'll be 1st and goal for the Mariners.
But, Tim, he had about 4 or 5 Bruins hanging on him, and he just kept right on going. This is a shot of Coach Bouchard and Coach Kozlowski, and you can see Coach Koz is not real happy at the way the Mariners are running that ball right up the middle, and he has made some about 3 substitutions there.
Davis, a 12-yard carry for the 1st and goal. This is Cobb. And Cobb is pounded down at the 5-yard line. Putting the finishing touches on the play was Big Todd Kelly, number 88. And they mark the ball squarely at the 5-yard line. It'll be 2nd down and goal in this tie ball game. 8:41 to go. We'll watch the replay. Watch Todd Kelly. Kelly was at the very end of this play. Well, we may not have time.
Right there, boom, there comes Todd Kelly, and he really hit him hard.
When he hits you, you've been hit. Oh, in the backfield, the Bruins defense is there to meet Cobb.
And Tim, there are 9 Bruins around that ball carrier.
I think Coach Kaz, you know what's got to be really upsetting, I was watching during halftime, Coach Kaz was discussing with the coaches and the players, we're taking a break, and you coach all these different things, and then you come out on the opening kickoff and the ball is stripped out of your hands and return, and it just throws everything right out the window.
You're talking to them about this is what we're going to do offensively because you know we're getting the ball and never had a chance to run any offense yet.
Third down and goal.
Well, they're still in field goal range. I don't know how well Beach, what his range is. He seems like he's watched him loosen up, and he gets pretty good foot in the ball. So I don't know if he's in his range or not. I'm pretty sure he is, Tim.
4-yard loss on that last play, and now Harrell running for his life is going to race to the corner. And did he get in? Yes.
Oh,
touchdown.
He just got in, Tim, and that was strictly all individual effort that time because he went back to pass. That was not a design quarterback keeper that time.
DeJuan Harrell, as we'll hopefully be able to have a chance to look at on the replay, used his good speed to race into the corner, and he just barely got there. But that's all that counts. He's into the end zone, and the Mariners have gone up on top. Beach will be on the field to try the extra point. And it's long enough, but it's no good. It's wide to the left.
He hooked that to the left, Tim, and that might be a break for the Bruins.
Watch the replay here of the score.
And you can see this time Harris drops back, and he has all intent purposes of passing the ball, and then just runs out of a Bruin defense and dives to get into the end zone. And he just gets inside, Tim. That was an excellent individual effort by DeJuan Harris.
DeJuan Harrell, caps the 35-yard drive, 9 plays, 5 minutes and 18 seconds, as they took that fumble recovery and converted for the touchdown. 7.5 minutes to go here in the third quarter. Bethel Bruins have to win this game to keep their hopes alive for the playoffs. Ferguson's season, as far as postseason play is concerned, is not going to happen, but they would love nothing better than to beat the Bethel Bruins, who have only lost once in the district. They're 5-1 in the district, 5-3 overall. Beach kicks a squibber, and it's taken by one of the up men. That's
Crawford.
Orlando Crawford, who carries it gingerly out to the 34-yard line. So now the Bruins will have possession, and they trail by 6 points. We're going to watch the replay of Orlando Crawford's efforts.
You can see that was just a scribbler, and he picked up sure hands, and he has got sure hands because we've seen him catching balls this year so far. He's one of the tight ends for the Bruins.
By the way, we certainly didn't mean to not mention it, but we certainly want to congratulate the Hampton Crabbers for being named the #1 team in the state.
And they did that when they had a bye.
Had a day off and won first place. And Troy Fullwood is quarterback here to start the second half for the Bruins. He did not play at quarterback during the first half.
Well, Corey Hodge received a very rude welcoming from the Mariner defense that time, Tim. As we can see this on replay, he got the ball and was met at the line of scrimmage. Picked up no yardage.
Did well to get back to the line of scrimmage, actually. Fullwood on the option, throws it behind Hodge, and the Mariners have got it.
Well, he was hit as he was pitching the ball, Tim, and you're right, he pitched it behind Corey Hodge. And this is one of the problems with the option offense is it is very, you have problems with turnovers, as we can see here on the replay. And it is a high-risk offense, and there's the pitch, and it just really goes behind Corey Hodge and number 44 for the Mariners, and that's Larry Harrison. Jumped right in there and got the ball for him. 2 turnovers, and that's not the way you want to start second half, Tim.
2 turnovers. The Bruins have had 1 score against them as a result of a fumble, and now the Mariners have it again. Davis goes in motion. Harrell gets pressure, and he's going to be running for his life here. He wants to unload. He throws in the general area of a receiver. Good job by Harrell.
Tim, if he hadn't done that, he would have been tackled back at about the 50-yard line. That would have been about 20 yards. He'd have had a second and 30, and that's not what you want. But the Bruins really put some defensive pressure on him, and one of them was number 44, Troy Fullwood. As you can see here on the replay, There's number 44, Fullwood, and also looks like number 20 and Melendez Bird, and they were all chasing him.
And that was no easy effort to get the ball thrown in the general area. Let's face it, he was not throwing for a completion. He was throwing to prevent the loss. So he did a good job of getting it in the general area of a receiver. Otherwise, he could have been called for grounding the ball.
He most certainly could. And that time, Dwan Harrell handed the ball off, and Kevin Kottman just drove him right into the ground. And that's one thing that you tell your lineman to do is you hit that quarterback, let him know that you're coming after him.
Well, the Bruin defense, even though they gave up that score here in the second half, have been playing with greater intensity. Not that they played poorly in the first half. You hold Ferguson to one score, you've done a good job. But they seem to be fired up here. And they continue to do a good job of slowing down that running attack. Short gain. It was 3rd down and 7. Now it'll be 4th down and about 5. So a 2-yard gainer. 4th and 5. A little more than 5 minutes to go here in the 3rd quarter.
And it's too far for a field goal, Tim, so they're going to go ahead and go for it on 4th down, which is not a bad situation because if you turn the ball over the Bruins, they're at the 26-yard line.
4th down and 5 for the Mariners. Juan Harrell, who scored the last time he ran with the ball, gives it off, and they've got the 1st down.
Now that was just a quick dive right up the middle, and I don't know if that's a trap play that they're running or not, Tim, but everybody was looking for somebody else to get the ball.
That's Lavont Davis who carried the ball. He's their big play running back. They don't use him all the time, but he seems to get the big play for them.
Well, I tell you what Coach Isley told me. We're going to give him, he says, we're going to give you the ball 4 times a game, and that's it.
And he does.
But he figures, well, if I'm going to get it 4 times, I'm going to make sure I get plenty of yards.
13-yard line is the line of scrimmage. 1st and 10. Fumble on the snap.
It looks like the Bruins have got the ball. I'm not sure. That's who they're.
No official indication yet. Actually, one official is saying 2nd down, which would indicate that Ferguson recovered it, and in fact they did. The last man up off the pile for Ferguson is number 50. That's Roderick Ruffin. And we'll, at this point, give him credit for the fumble recovery.
Well, that was, again, was just a miscommunication between the quarterback and the center, Tim. And you don't like to see that if you're a coach. That's not where you want to see any bad exchanges.
Ferguson retains possession. No gain on the play. Oh, what balance. What balance.
And he still hasn't gone down.
He never did go down. That's Terry Cobb. Cobb refused to be taken down. Of course, he was, in fact, driven out of bounds, but not before he got to the 6-yard line. So that's a gainer of 7, make that 6 yards.
And we're going to see the replay, and he has tremendous balance. Tim, they got 3 yards for a 1st down and 6 for a touchdown. As you can see, he's hit here by 2 people and just keeps going, puts his hand out, and finally is just pushed out of bounds.
They still wouldn't go down. Clock stopping with 3:37 left in the 3rd quarter. 3rd down and 4. Over the middle, it's knocked away, but it's caught in the end zone. So one of the Bruins deflected it, but it ended up in the hands of Kevin White.
And that's not the way you play it. And I know Coach Kaz wonders why the Bruin didn't catch the ball instead of trying to knock it down. And maybe we can say maybe he didn't have a chance to catch it. I don't know. And it's just a quick pass. And it's, oh, no, he never had a chance to catch the ball. He tried to catch it. That was Melendez Bird, it looked like.
So the Mariners have scored twice here in the 3rd quarter.
And off of 2 turnovers, Tim.
2 turnovers. Coaches will tell you it's no secret. Turnovers will kill you. And Beach this time does put it through the uprights. And after about 8.5 minutes here in the 3rd quarter, the Mariners have scored twice. 29 yards is the drive this time, 7 plays, consuming 3 minutes and 3 seconds. So the Mariners continue to add points here in the 3rd quarter. Now, if you're Coach Kozlowski, Bob, what do you do to get back in this game?
Well, you just got to come back and stay with your game plan, Tim. You still got 3 minutes to go, 3.5 minutes to go in this quarter, and then you got another full quarter. And the Bruins have got a very potent offense, but you can't go out there and start panicking and throwing the ball up and maybe turning it over because of ill-advised passes. You get the ball to Hodge and just run it like you did before and hang on to the ball. Bethel is not out of this game by any means.
Taken out about the 15. This is Steve Hodges. Hodges spins away from one man and then he's taken down at about the 27-yard line. Steve Hodges returns for the Mariners. Well, we have a moment here. Let me run down the standings in the district prior to this game, and including Friday night's games. Hampton, of course, is atop the district, 7-0 in the district, 7-1 overall. Their lone loss at the hands of the Tab Tigers, who, again, we congratulate them for their standing. They continue to be the #1 ranked team in 2A ball. So, ironically, Hampton and Tab, who met at the beginning of the season in one of the best games I've ever seen, continue to be atop their particular standings in the state. Hampton 3A leader and Tab the 2A leader. In motion is Tuning.
And they're going to go into a passing attack.
Todd Kelly battles for the ball with the defender.
That's number 22, Tim. That's the one that Daryl Patrick at Sam Still was telling us about before the game started. But if you saw that time when the Bruins came out, they split the two receivers, the two ends, Crawford and Kelly out, and then they put Tuning in motion. So they're trying to confuse the defense this time. And the pass was just didn't have enough zip on it because Crawford was open. As you can see, he starts to come back and get the ball, and number 22 for the Mariners, Daryl Patrick, did a good job of breaking it up.
And our camera crew continues to do their great job of covering this. They're really getting good at this, aren't they? Oh,
wow, Tim, that was an excellent try there by number 7, Derek Bell. I didn't even see him until the last second come in and almost intercepted that ball.
Little Patrick was the defender against the much larger Crawford.
Well, Crawford is about 6'3", and let me try to get Patrick here with
5'6".
5'6", so he's giving up about 8 inches.
I love to see the little guy play football. I think that's one of the more exciting parts of football is the fact that everybody thinks you have to be a 6'2", 230-pound behemoth in order to play ball, and that's just not the case.
Well, that's true. In fact, in the major college ball, and I'm not sure which team it was, they have a young man that runs back punch, Tim. It is 5'1"3/4", 130 pounds, and he's run 3 back already this year for touchdowns.
And a good pass on the far sidelines to Tuning from Gwaltney, and it would appear that it'd be enough for a first down as he got about 2 yards beyond the yard marker, and it looks like Bethel now has gone to, as you mentioned very alertly, to the passing game. They abandoned the run here for 3 downs, and they finally, on the 3rd try, are able to complete it.
Well, and something else could happen out here too, Tim. He's going to loosen up that defense a lot with this passing attack, and that will open up his run. But now they've got 2 wide receivers to the far side of the field.
Gwaltney straight back, gets pressure, unloads. He gets it off on the screen pass to Corey Hodge. Hodge, tightrope walking down the far sideline.
Well, he got that ball off. He being Gwaltney, Tim, just as he was being hit by the Mariner defender. And then Corey Hodge did a good job of running the ball after he got it, and it looks like he's, just short of a first down, doesn't
he? He needs to cross the 50, and they're just shy of that, so it'll be 2nd down and short. Watch the replay here. You see Gwaltney gets big time pressure here and just dumps it off. And Corey Hodge, when he gets it, does an excellent job of picking up yardage.
And that looked like Roderick Ruffin, number 50 for the Mariners. It was right in his face.
So Bethel needs to cross the 50 to get the first down. They've got 3 downs to do it. And they use Corey Hodge, who gets it and much more. Far sideline, he's wrestled down at the 25. A flag comes down. We'll see undoubtedly a face mask call against Ferguson. So Corey Hodge breaks one from the 50, a 25-yarder, and they may be on the benefit of an extra penalty for face mask.
And we will hear from Mike Robinson, the referee, Tim.
While we're waiting for that, though, let me continue. Moments ago, I started to tell you well, watch the replay, and let me tell you how the standings are again.
We have a face mask on the white team. First down.
Tim, that ball is cleared down to looks like about the 13-yard line.
So a 25-yard gainer by Hodge, and then tack on half the distance to the goal line. And Bethel's in business, trailing by 2 TDs. And I might add 1 extra point. That 1 extra point might be a big part of this game before we're through this afternoon. We still got a lot of time left. 2:20 remains here in the third quarter. And Bethel is now threatening. Gwaltney pitches out to Steve Hodges. Hodges races for the end zone. He's in. Hodges from 13 yards out was not to be denied.
Well, that's what they've got to do. They've got to get back in the ball game, and Kaz opened up that defense by coming out passing the ball and was successful at it, which opened up the run.
So you called it exactly. He was going to go to the pass when he could get things going, and then he was able to open things up. And now the Bethel Bruins are back in business. Troy Fullwood will be on to try the extra point. Bad snap, and he's not going to get a shot at it.
Oh, Tim, and that's really going to make a different situation now.
Let me correct myself. I said bad snap. Let's just say it was mishandled. I don't know that the snap was that poor.
No, I don't think it was a bad snap. I think it was a low snap, but you ought to be able to handle that if you're the holder. You've got to be able to hold hang on to that kind of a snap.
All right, watch Hodges on the replay for the touchdown. 13 yards out. It's a straight pitch.
He's got a good block out in front of him.
Right here, he really turns on the afterburners. He gets through a couple of players here, and then he just dives into the end zone from 2 yards out.
And that's number 7, Derek Bell. It grabbed him, but he was flying to the end zone. There was no way they were going to stop him.
7 plays, 73 yards in just a minute and 20 seconds of elapsed time. The Bruins are back in it, 20-13. I'm going to finish the standings in the district.
I know you're trying to get
rid of 5-1 coming into the game. Then Phoebus at 6-2. Menchville, a very strong team, is 4-3. Then Warwick, Ferguson, and Kickingham all with 2 and 4 district records. Denby 2 and 5, and Lafayette rounds it out 0 and 7 in the district. So the Crabbers have clinched a tie for the title. Depending on what happens, if Bethel loses this afternoon, Hampton will in fact win the district outright, regardless of the outcome of next week's game. This is Singleton at the 13. Singleton chased down from behind all the way out to the 35-yard line. Wesley Tuning in on the stop for the Bethel Bruins.
Well, Tuning is playing an excellent game today, Tim. He's playing defense, playing offense. He runs plays in. He rotates with number 11, Rodney Bowens. They're the ones that Coach Kyle sends the plays in with. And he's been down there a couple times on the kickoffs.
Here we go on the replay. You'll see Singleton as he meets some resistance there, cuts to the outside. One of the Bruins misses him, but Tuning doesn't. And they'll mark it at the 35. Ferguson leading by 6, 20-13. Pitch back goes to Terry Cobb. Cobb wants to turn the corner. Oh, he's submarined nicely by none other than Steve Hodges, who just scored the touchdown for the Bruins. So Hodges plays well on both offense and defense. You may remember Hodges had a 27-yard gain on a carry to end the first half. Then, of course, he scored the touchdown. Watch on the replay here. You'll see Cobb trying to get outside, and watch number 45, Steve Hodges, come up and just bowl him over.
He most certainly did. That was excellent camera work, and Joe Lewis, our slow motion man, is doing an excellent job today.
As usual, gain of only 1. And this is Lavon Harris, and you can see the gang tackling now from the Bruins as not 1, not 2, but maybe 4 players. And again, Steve Hodges is the first man up from that pile.
Tim, you notice that the Bruins are playing, it looks like a little more intensity, doesn't it? Well, nothing will fire your defense up like scoring a touchdown.
Yes, for sure. All right, Joe, roll it, as the man says in the van. Watch here. Watch right here. You'll see Steve Hodges, among others. 3rd down and 7. This is Cobb. Melendez Bird is there with Steve Hodges and others.
And this, excuse me, Tim, this brings up a kicking situation, a punting situation.
And that was probably the last play of the third quarter, as they'll mark the ball just across the 40. It is a 4th down, and we will change ends of the field before we get this kick off. 2 seconds, 1 second, and that is the end of the third quarter. So it's been a quarter of a lot of action. 2 fumbles by the Bruins set up touchdowns of 30 and 29-yard drives for the Mariners. To recap the scoring, if you just joined us, this is Saturday, the 29th of October. I'm Tim Cole with A.G. Womble and Bob Hintz, and we're here at the Armstrong Field. A.G., who you got down there? Take it away, A.G.
All right, Tim, Bob, we got an injured Bruin down here, Tom Sidesnitzer, and Tom got 12 minutes left. Your thoughts going into this fourth quarter here?
I think going to the fourth quarter, we're starting to get pumped up again. You know, right before halftime, we started getting into it, and then we started off slow the second half, but we'll come back, we're going to win this game.
Tom, if y'all make the playoffs, you're going to be able to, you'll be ready by then?
Well, I went to the doctor, he said I'll be out for about 3 more weeks, so if we get into it, I think we win the first game, then I should be back in there.
Got to win this one, though.
Yeah, we got to win this one, and then we also have to win next week against Hampton to have a chance to get into the playoffs.
All right, Tom, good luck on your recovery there.
Thank you.
Tom Sidesnitzer.
Oh, excellent punt, Tim. Look at that.
Booms it, and it's going to roll, and will it not? It's not going to get into the end zone, and boy, does the Ferguson Mariner punter do a great job for his team.
Tim, that line of scrimmage was the 40. So I don't know. I know Jerry's over there with his calculator just a-going.
57 yards. Even I can figure this one. 57 yards from the line of scrimmage, and Singleton got all of that ball. As I started to say, Tim Cole, A.G. Womble, and Bob Hintz from Armstrong Field on the campus of Hampton University. Saturday, the 29th of October. You're watching the Ferguson Mariners and the Bethel Bruins. Fourth quarter just underway. Bethel with the ball deep in their own territory, trailing by the score of 20-13. Brian Gwaltney remains at quarterback. Running backs, and now we have a flag down, and I'm afraid we're going to see a delay of game against the Bruins. Well, let me wait for a moment, because that would be the. No, they're going to call him against Ferguson.
With a dead ball foul, encroachment on Ferguson, first down.
And that was really a bad break for the Mariners, Tim, because they had Bruins back inside the 5, and somebody crossed that neutral zone.
In motion is Tuning. And we're going to have some real live sounds down there. Corey Hodge stacked up, gets outside, and then is stripped up. And we're going to tell the ref to turn off his mic.
I'm telling you, you listen to me. Don't you get another hit after that whistle.
We may get a little more verbal action out of this than we intended, as the referee did not turn off his mic after.
Well, Scotty down in the van can control it too, I think.
Good for us. All right, maybe we'll get a chance to see that replay later, but right now it's second down and 6. This is Hodge, and he crosses the 10 out to the 11. They need to get to the 13 to get a first down, so it's going to be third down and a very crucial 2 yards to go.
And that penalty really looms as a big penalty for the against the Mariners, Tim.
10:20 remains here in the fourth quarter. And the reason I don't say game is because those of you who haven't watched before may not be aware of this. We have overtime in high school ball. No more ties in Virginia AAA high school football. And Corey Hodge is stacked up on a good defensive effort by the Ferguson Mariners.
And that means Todd Kelly's going to have to punt the ball, Tim, because there's no way that Coach Kaz is going to do anything. He's not going to pull any rabbits out of his hat down here, because you don't want to make a mistake and give the Mariners the ball this deep in your end of the field.
Hodge has carried the ball 11 times so far for 69 yards in the game. Standing inside of his own end zone is Todd Kelly, as you said. The big left-footed kicker gets a good spiraling kick, fielded at the 44. This is Cobb, and the Bethel Bruins are there. The ball comes loose, but the official on the spot says there is no fumble.
He was right there, Tim. You're right. As he was pointing to where the tackle was made. But the Mariners have excellent field position. They're at the, what is that, about the 42, 43-yard line, isn't it?
You know, unfortunately, we can't have the referee's mic open all the time, but it was kind of interesting to hear some of the play. A lot of the fans may not realize, and here's a replay of that punt. A good punt by Kelly. Standing in his own end zone, he got it out to the 44. And there you see Orlando Crawford, Kevin Kottman, and a couple of other Bruins come up to make the stop. It would be kind of nice to hear some of the interaction between them. You heard the referee on that previous play saying, don't hit him after the whistle and so forth. You think they don't communicate, but they certainly do.
Well, they're trying to, the whistle sounds, and people have a tendency to relax when the whistle sounds, so you don't want to be hitting anybody and cause somebody to have an injury. And I'm sure that's the main concern of the officials out there, Tim. They're controlling the ball game and not letting anything happen, but they don't want these young men to be hurt either.
This, in my opinion, is not the most crucial point of the game, but it certainly is one of them in that 8.5 minutes remain, and Bethel trails by 6. They desperately need to get this ball back, and they need to keep Ferguson off the board if they have a chance to win this game.
But, Tim, they trail by 7. Don't mean to correct you, but that's a big one extra point that they're...
I was trying to give them an extra point. There you see the Bruin. Third down, big third down for Ferguson. The ball is resting at the 36, and they need to get down to the 31. And the little guy doesn't get it. Some of the fans in the stands here. It's a 4th down now, so the Bruin defense stops Ferguson with just a yard gain.
Tim, nothing will make people act any crazier and put a camera on them.
How will I know that?
And we're going to see the replay of this, but this is a 4th down with, looks like, what, about 3 or 4 yards, a long 3. This is a very crucial play for both teams.
This is White, and he's going to be very close to a first down. I don't think he got it.
From where they're spotting, it does not look like he got it, Tim. And no, Mike Robinson doesn't even want to. He doesn't even want to measure.
So the Bethel Bruin defense stops the Mariners, something they had to do. And now it'll be up to the offense to get that ball in the end zone. A little more than 7 minutes remain, plenty of time. Considering the Bruins scored in the third quarter with just 1 minute and 20 seconds of possession, they scored the touchdown that they got, 73 yards in just 1 minute 20. So you know they can score, and they can score quickly. Waltney continues to pass, and it's picked off.
Oh, Tim, he threw it right to the Mariner. I mean, I'm sure Gwaltney did not see that defender, which is a linebacker, number 44 for the Mariners, Larry Harrison, was standing right in where he was throwing the ball, and that's a big, big turnover, Tim. Bouchard is not very happy. As you can see Roger Bouchard right there.
Well, we'll see the replay. You're going to watch Harrison just be right in the right spot. Gwaltney didn't see him. You're right. He threw it right to him, and I mean, they couldn't have.
And Tuning was wide open, Tim, but he was had a man between him and the ball.
That's why they play these games. Nobody's perfect, and everybody makes mistakes. No gain for the Mariners, but they've got the ball, and they've got it in deep territory here at the 21-yard line, excuse me, 16-yard line.
Yeah, that's Kevin Kottman there that was on the tackle. He's small, but this is an area right now where the Mariners can move this ball down a couple of more yards and be able to kick a field goal, which then you're putting the pressure on the Bruins to score twice, Tim.
6 minutes and 11 seconds remains here in the fourth quarter. And again, same play, same basic result.
And same tackler, same young man, Kevin Kottman. And those are two big tackles, Tim.
So no gain on the play. Market's still at the 16, and it's 3rd down and 9. So the Bethel defense coming up big here. We'll watch the replay, and you'll see Kottman as he came up from a different perspective. And you see number 20, Kottman, as he makes the tackle. 3rd down and 9, another big down for the Mariners. Keeping the ball is DeJuan Harrell. He will come up shy of the first down by considerable yardage, but as you said, they will be within a range for the field goal kicker. And we'll see Beach, who will be trying the field goal, trot out on the field.
Well, Tim, remember he hooked the extra point, and this will be kicked from, looks like about the 19-yard line, so it's a 29-yarder, and he's right-footed, so he's got it's not a real severe angle.
Gregory Beach trying the field goal. Kick is up.
Looks short.
But it's
oh, Tim, it just made it over the crossbar.
So Beach kicks it just long enough. And we'll watch the play just before this on replay. Well, maybe we will, and then again, maybe we won't. Here we go. This is the Cotman play earlier to set up the 4th down.
Tim, if I'm not mistaken, there's 3 turnovers by the Bruins that has led to 2 touchdowns, 1 extra point, and 1 field goal. And boy, that's tough.
Nothing could more graphically explain how turnovers can kill you.
Boy, that really, because now that's a 10-point lead. So now the Bruins is not only have to score a touchdown and an extra point, but then they have to get in field goal range and hopefully kick a field goal. But you said, Tim, earlier they scored with a minute and some seconds on one of their drives. I don't remember exact time, but they got 4:50, so there's plenty of time.
This drive after the turnover, a minute 57 seconds, 29 yards in 4 plays. And again, this one booms into the end zone, and it will be through the end zone and out to the 20-yard line. I'm not sure why the officials didn't immediately indicate a touchback.
Because it was touched by a ball player, I think, is the only reason, Tim. But the emphasis of the ball carried it into the end zone. So the ball, if the carrier would just picked it up and downed it, put his knee down, then he'd blown out. So they waited until the ball went out of the end zone before they blew it dead.
That's right. Once that ball was touched by one of the Bethel Bruins, it was a live ball, even in the end zone.
That's right.
Again, another rule in high school, once the ball goes into the end zone untouched by the receiving team, it's an automatic touchback.
But it's not being touched, and that's the key.
So the Bruins now with 4:50 remaining here in the 4th quarter, trailing by 10 points.
And I would imagine they're going to put the ball up in the air, Tim.
Gwaltney throws for Tuning. It's too tall for Tuning.
And there's a number, who is that? It's 32 for the Mariners, due in the defense. That's Kevin White, who's carried the ball a few times today, too.
Another good two-way player for the Mariners. That play took 5 seconds, and it's 2nd down and 10 from the 20. Bethel, of course, has to win this game. You'll watch the replay here. You'll see Gwaltney from behind. Then up on the side, you see the pass just too tall for Tuning. In motion is Bowen. Orlando Crawford is open at the 36-yard line. He's got the 1st down.
And Tim, that was an excellent route that Crawford ran. He went into the soft spot in that zone and just did a little hook, and he was right there. There was a man in front of him, a man behind him, but that was an excellent pass by Gwaltney that time. And now you notice in high school, the clock will stop every time they make a 1st down, but then they start it up again. So the clock is running with a little less than 4.5 minutes.
There you see Crawford, as you saw him between the 2 defenders, did a good job as he got out to the 43-yard line. Gwaltney again passing almost exclusively. Over the middle, he's got Todd Kelly at the 49-yard line. And that's going to be shy of a 1st down. It'll be an 8-yard pickup.
Well, now this is one thing that the Mariners don't mind. If you're going to complete the pass, it's got to be a short pass. They're not going to let a long pass to let one of their wide receivers get behind the defenders.
Kelly comes to the near side. Crawford at the top of your screen. In motion is Tuning. Gwaltney again has time, throws long, way too long, as Todd Kelly was in the area, but the ball was not catchable by anybody.
Well, the 2 Mariners were much closer to the ball than Todd was. Gwaltney is a strong young man throwing that ball, and he just overthrew his receiver by a good 10 yards. But if you notice what the Bruins are doing is they're spreading out, they're putting out 2 wide receivers, Tim, and then they're putting their other man, and it's usually Tuning, they're running him in motion. Now they got Tuning at a split end and Kelly at a split end, and then they got Crawford in the slot. and they're running, which is not a bad call because you needed that first down. They were about a yard shy of the first down, so that gives them a first down.
So fresh set of downs with 3:37 remaining. The clock stops while they reset the chains. Ball is marked at the 44-yard line of Ferguson. So the Bruins using their passing attack to move the ball. And then, of course, this last time with a 3rd down and 2, they had to go to the run. Corey Hodge checks out of the ball game. And now a timeout being called by Gwaltney, as there was some confusion about who was supposed to be in the backfield.
Well, Tim, there wasn't but 10 Bruins on the field. And that's why Kaz called timeout. Hodge came off, number 36 came off, but there was only one back in the backfield and the 2 wide receivers, so you were missing, you only had 10 players out there. So that was an excellent call by the Kozlowski, but it's nice that it was in front of him that he could make that call and not at a different position on the field, as you saw a good shot of Steve Isley over on the far side.
Some up-to-the-minute stats for you. Hodge has been a busy man this afternoon for the Bruins. 18 carries for 74 yards. Gwaltney has carried the ball 4 times for just 6 yards. Fullwood has yet to carry the ball on offense, and Steve Hodges, has carried twice for 40 yards, so a real good average for Hodges. On the other side, Cobb has carried 18 times for 90 yards. White has carried 7 times for 41. Harrell -5 yards on 7 attempts. Patrick, who hasn't seen much action here in the ball game, carried 4 times for 19 yards, and Davis 10 times for 51 yards. Our thanks again to Jerry the Z Zomplis for his excellent stat work. Gwaltney throws, and this one is, well, are they going to rule it incomplete? Yes. Good call. No, they're going to.
No, he's saying the ball hit the ground. I wasn't sure at first what he meant, but he was pointing to the ground and said the ball hit the ground before the Mariner caught it.
Difficult call because that was close, and I don't know whether we'll have a real good chance to see it on the replay, but we have a replay of that.
And maybe we can catch it as he slows it down as the ball gets there, but it's hard. And it's impossible to see.
Yeah, but the official right on top of the play, and we'll give him certain credit for that. On a play that looks like it was a busted play, Gwaltney has to run out of bounds. Looked like he wanted a handoff to Hodge.
And just missed a handoff, might have been, Tim, but he was real smart in stepping out of bounds and stopping that clock. You're now at 3rd down, and looks like about 8 with 3:10 to go. And the Bruins have got to get a score in real quick. And then, of course, you and I know that they're going to do an onside kick to try to get the ball back.
3rd down and 8. Crucial play with 3:10 remaining in the 4th quarter. Gwaltney hands to Corey Hodge. Hodge struggles to get to the 37. It's short of a first down by about 4 yards. Now a timeout being called. And who's being called by? Looks like the Bruins have called a timeout.
And that's their 2nd timeout, Tim. And you only have 3 timeouts in a ball game. So if Bruins need to stop the clock when the Mariners have the ball, here we can see this on replay. And it's just a straight handoff, and he's got a blocker in front of him, but he does not pick up the necessary yardage for the first down.
So the Bruins, with just 2:57 remaining in the 4th quarter, trailing 23-13. Next week's game, we remind you, at Todd Stadium, we will be there. Of course, there'll be other games in the district, and we urge you to go out and support your high school team. They put out a good effort every Friday and Saturday, and they certainly deserve your support. The cost of a game, in case you're wondering, is a measly $3 to get into a football game in high school, and it's worth every penny of it. We'll be at Todd Stadium next Saturday afternoon, the 5th of November, for the annual clash between the Hampton Crabbers and the Bethel Bruins. Now, Bethel's chances of playoffs will be dashed considerably should they end up on the wrong side of this score, but that won't take away from that game next week, I guarantee you. Anybody who's watched a Hampton-Bethel game in the past, throw out the records, folks. This is Corey Hodge, and he has the first down, and couldn't be more crucial than that.
Well, no, they needed that, Tim. They really did, with the clock going to be running now, and they only have one timeout left. They got to get down and score quick.
2:51, the clock is restarted. We'll watch the replay as Hodge, he'll be the second man by the quarterback. That's him, and gets a good hole. The offensive line for the Bethel Bruins did a good job that time.
Well, the Mariners are playing a little soft, too. They're not going to let anybody beat them with a pass.
First down, Crawford comes in motion to the near side. And Gwaltney being chased. Throws, and Tuning was his intended receiver, but a couple of Mariners were there to break it up.
But the Mariners were behind, and once that ball was thrown, then they converged on the ball, Tim, but there was no way they're going to let Tuning get behind them. But there was a lot of pressure that time on Gwaltney.
That's the toughest play for a quarterback to make, rolling to his left, and he's
here. You can see it on the replay, Tim.
He's getting big-time pressure. Does a good job of getting away from one would-be tackler. That's Harrison, who made the interception earlier. And he throws it down. Two Mariners there to bust up the play. Second down and 10. Clock stops with 2:22 to go. Gwaltney rolling, looks. He's got Crawford inside the 20 at about the 17.
Well, he did a good job of finding that soft spot in that zone defense, because there he got it and picked up the first down, which stops the clock with 2:13.
First down for the Bruins at the 18-yard line. They mark it. 2:07. Clock is moving. Gwaltney pitches to Hodge. Hodge has Fountain blocking in front of him. Hodge is going to go all the way down to the 1-yard line. So Corey Hodge carries the mail from the 18 down to the 1.
That was an excellent call, because I know the Mariners were looking for a pass that time, Tim, and it was just a straight pitch with some good blocking out front of him, and he almost picked up the first down. But looks like they're going to score here, but now they got to get the ball back.
1:51 remains in the fourth quarter. It's first and goal at the 1-yard line. 17-yard carry for Hodge puts him over the 100-yard mark for the day. 101 yards for Corey Hodge. And this is he trying to get into the end zone. There's no signal yet.
No, he is short, Tim. It looks like from this angle, looks like about a half a yard short. And this is how they got to move and get that ball in the end zone real quick.
That's what hurts them, because they didn't get in and the clock continues to move. Now they must go with either a no huddle or certainly a quick huddle. 1:25, they don't want to use that last timeout they've got, but of course they must get into the end zone. You have to remember the priorities. Gwaltney will keep it, and he is stacked up. Did he get in? Not as of yet. And now they're going to call a timeout, as Bethel must use their last timeout. Corey Hodge was
Gwaltney popped. Ooh, he really was. He was kind of standing a little upright, Tim.
Yeah, and he was knocked even more upright than he was. We have a chance to look at that again. You'll see he really got popped.
Well, he gives him an awful big target when he stand up like that, too. As you can see, Coach Kyle's talking to him, so we got to get the ball in. It's we got 1:10. We got plenty of time. We can score, get the extra point, do an onside, maybe kick a field goal, tie it up, and then go into overtime. So this is not over yet.
All right, let's watch the goal line stand again as the Ferguson Mariners. There you see Gwaltney. He looked like he got an elbow in the face there as he was standing too upright. As you said, you want to get down in that play. And there you see the ball. We're back to the live action. It is squarely about a foot away from the end zone. We've seen a good one. AG, I know you're listening to me. Can you give us your idea on who you want for your players of the game today? He says, well, hold on a minute here. We'll get this play out of the way.
Well, he's showing about how far we got to go, and it looks like about a foot from what AG was showing.
Now an official's timeout momentarily. This has been a good one. 23-13. Pitch goes to Corey Hodge, and he is in from a yard out. So with 1:07 remaining in the fourth quarter, the Bruins have made the game closer. Now, of course, the extra point is all important. Corey Hodge has scored 2 times in the ballgame. Lamont Davis has scored for Ferguson. Trying for the 2-point conversion. They complete the pass.
Oh, now that's an interesting situation.
Melendez now on the receiving end of that pass.
Tim, now a field goal wins the ball game. There's no way this is going to end up in a tie.
Hold everything. We've got a yellow hanky on the field. We've got a penalty on the play.
I'm glad we got him wired for sound so we'll be able to hear what happens here.
We may even be able to pick up the discussion. Is he still live, Scotty? Oh, he's got his mic off, I'm told, so he did turn it off after.
Well, he's talking to a Bethel Bruin, so it looks like the 2-point conversion will stand. Oh, no, maybe not, Tim. I'm sorry.
We have illegal formation on Bethel. Tie the point over.
Illegal formation could mean a lot of things, Tim, like they did not have enough men on the line of scrimmage. In offense, you must have 7 men on the line of scrimmage.
That last drive for the touchdown was 3 minutes and 43 seconds, 80 yards, 13 plays. And they're still going to go for the 2-point conversion.
And you see who's quarterbacking is Troy Fullwood.
And he tosses out to Corey Hodge, and Hodge is in. Yes, what an effort by Corey Hodge. So that play was extremely crucial.
Well, AG was right down there looking at that, Tim. He run right towards him.
AG was probably running away from it.
Okay, Tim, Bob, I'm going with my most valuable player.
Corey Hodge.
I'll have to go along with Corey Hodge for the Bruins, Tim.
And,
that would be my pick also.
Dwayne Harrell, I believe, for the Mariners has done an admirable job for the Mariners today.
He has done a good job. You're absolutely right, AG. And I can't argue too much with those, although I might possibly, we're going to watch the replay on that. I might go with Cobb as my player of 18 carries and 90 yards in the game.
Well, that's who I was kind of leaning towards in the Mariners is Cobb. He has done an excellent job today.
Here's the replay of the touchdown. Watch Corey Hodge. He really does a good job of getting into the end zone. He was not going to be denied. And now, of course, with just a 2-point margin, you've got the onside attempt, of course. The Bethel Bruins have got to get the ball back. They cannot afford to give it up, and I think they've used all 3 of their timeouts.
Oh, yes, they have, Tim. With a 2-point deficit here, this game will not end up in a tie.
Not unless there's a safety. That'd be the only thing.
Well,
and highly unlikely.
And that doesn't seem like a likely situation. Of course, stranger things have happened.
So the Bruins, of course, will be trying the onside kick. Just 1 minute and 7 seconds remain. I mentioned that last drive was 80 yards, 3 minutes and 43 seconds, 13 plays. And again, we thank Jared
dropped the mic. Hello?
Hello yourself. All right, let's watch it. All the Bruins will now go to the far side of the field, and obviously that's where they're going to kick it. It's got to go 10 yards. It's a loose ball. A flag is thrown, and a scramble for the ball, but it's not really going to be...
Well, Tim, that flag was thrown like it was offside on a Mariner, so let's see.
They may have sneaked up closer than 10 yards, which would mean they'd kick it over. The Mariners obviously recovered the ball.
Here we hear the call from our Mike Robinson.
We have a dead ball foul, illegal position on the right. Kick it again.
All right, I tell you, that's a nice touch having him on there. We can find out what's going on. So
well, they have to have 5 men up there. I think they cannot bring more than 5 up, and they might either one of them may have stepped back and not had the 5 men, or they had extra men up there, Tim. I don't exactly know what happened, but you can see there's 5 Mariners within 10 yards of that ball.
So the Bruins' hopes stay alive as that ball was clearly recovered by the Mariners. But now the replay of that, and of course no time has elapsed off the clock. Not sure exactly why, but it has stayed at 107. It was touched by the receiving team. needless to say, we'll see the Bruins again shift over to the one side of the field and get all 10 players besides the kicker in a position to recover. The ball goes 10 yards, and it's caught and downed on a very alert play by the Mariners.
And there's another flag, but this time it's offside against the Bruins on the kicking team. And no way they're going to, the Mariners going to let them kick it again. They got the ball. I know they will decline that.
Now let's see, what are they going to bring the ball back now? What's going on?
The dead ball foul, encroachment on Bethel, kick it again.
So I guess they don't have an option on that.
Well, evidently there was an encroachment prior to the kickoff, so the play will not stand. And
now this time, 3 seconds have gone off the clock.
Well, Tim, not only that, but here you are, you're in the Mariners, and you've successfully got 2 kicks, and the third time, you know,
but 3 important seconds were taken off that clock on a dead ball foul, so
yeah.
Technically the clock should not have run.
Yeah, you got a good point there.
That may not be a point of contention at the end of this game, but there should be 1:07 left on the clock.
Well, there should have been time run off the first kickoff, but not this one. And now we got.
We have the longest last minute and 7 seconds in the history of high school football. That's what we've got so far. They're going to try this.
Oh, they're talking about the clock, Tim. They're talking about the clock. And we got AG down there on the sideline. Maybe he knows what's going on.
Yeah, Tim, Bob, they're going to put that 3 seconds back on the clock, I believe.
Good call, AG. And that's...
You make Chase proud of you, AG. Right on top of things.
I'm trying to get them to put them back on there.
Well, technically, since it was a dead ball foul, it would seem correct since the penalty occurred before the ball was kicked.
Well, what they may do is they may, one of the officials on the field will keep the time for 3 seconds before.
Yep, that's what he's saying.
He wants 1:07 on the clock. 1:07 is what he wants on the clock. That's what he's telling them.
So they've reset the clock correctly. The reason that being, I don't think I have to explain it for our fans, but in case someone was confused, the penalty occurred before the ball was kicked, and therefore the clock should never have started.
Let's watch it for the third time. Let's see if the Mariners can. Oh, they're going to change sides this time. They're going to kick it to the other way.
This one, unfortunately, is kicked longer and further, but it's fumbled and then pounced on by the Mariners. Of course, then you see the piling on by the Bruins trying to knock it loose, but the officials very alertly had already ruled it in the possession of the Mariners. Mariners, of course, not trying to run it back.
And, Tim, they're just going to snap the ball. The quarterback, DeJuan Harrell, is just going to go down on a knee. If he's smart, they're not going to try a handoff or anything that would cause a fumble.
All right, let's take a brief pause here while we wait for the conclusion of the game. We'll be back after this. Tim Koba, Bob Henson, A.G. Womble back at Armstrong Field at Hampton University. Just 30 seconds remains in the ball game. The clock is moving. What you missed while we were changing tapes is one play just like Bob called it. The quarterback, Harold, took the ball and dropped to one knee.
And then got out of the way, Tim.
And then ducked because, of course, the Bruins are desperately trying to get that ball to shake loose. And Harold, again, drops to his knee instantly. And that's going to be your ball game as the clock will run out. And the Bethel Bruins will find themselves losing only for the second time in the district. 23-21. The Mariners win the ball game. And it was a good game, Bob.
It really was, Tim. I thought Bruins had a good chance to come back. They came back out the second half, and they really started playing real good. But you can't turn the ball over 3 times.
Kind of interesting to watch. Melendez Bird and one of the
that's number 50, Roderick Ruffin, are real good friends, evidently. They're just having a good time out there.
Jumped up into Melendez Bird's arms and literally knocked him over when the final gun went off. So they obviously had a friendly rivalry of sorts going there. Of course, the Mariners have really created a problem for the Bruins, because 2 weeks in a row now the Bruins have come up short in ball games that they really needed to win for postseason play.
Yeah, just to finish up my thought there, Tim, yeah, the Bruins turned the ball over 3 times, and by turning it over 3 times, they gave up 16 points. And, boy, that hurts you. But you got to take your hat off to the Mariners. On the other hand, they got the ball and then scored 16 points off of the turnovers.
Oh, they did, definitely. And AG, I understand you got the quarterback for Ferguson, Dwayne Harrell.
Tim, Bob, we have Dwan Harrell, and Dwan, a big win for you. Your thoughts on this big win?
Well, we took it as we had to win because we weren't getting a chance to go to the playoffs, so we didn't want Bethel to go to the playoffs, and we wanted to finish our season out with I guess our team developed at the end of the year, and we just on a roll now.
Okay, great game to you, Dwan, and good luck next weekend.
Okay, thank you.
Dwan Harrell.
Dwan Harrell, certainly one of our favorites for player of the game, and he has led his Ferguson Mariners to victory. That's their 3rd victory against 4 defeats in the district, and they improved their overall record to 4-5. And we saw a good Ferguson team play against Bethel this afternoon. These guys may have been taken lightly by some people, but certainly not by the Bethel Bruins.
Well, it's something that we had seen today that the Mariners have done, Tim, that they didn't do the first time we saw them play, as they did not pass the ball as much. They've got tremendous running from Cobb and who was the other young man who was back there running, Patrick and White. They just, this did an excellent job.
I understand AG has Corey Hodge down on the sidelines.
Yeah, Tim, we do have Corey Hodge. Corey, disappointing loss. You individually played a great game, but your thoughts on the game?
Well, at the beginning, we weren't executing right. It's like I had one in the game, but then by the end of the second quarter, we found out that we can't do the job in the second half. We came back, but we came back a little too late.
All right, Corey, another great effort from you, and good luck next week against Hampton.
Thank you.
All right, Corey Hodge.
Yeah, it's going to be, excuse me, Tim, it's going to be hard to get them up next week. Of course, anytime the Bruins play Hampton, it's like back when you were in high school when it was the Newport News-Hampton rivalry was the big game. And it seems to turn into the Bethel and Hampton is about as big as that game was. But, that's got to be a disappointing loss because it takes the kids out of the playoffs. There's no way they're going to get into the playoffs now. Now the 4 losses that they have.
And, of course, it does several other things. It assures the Crabbers of an outright winning of the district title.
Regardless of what happens next week, you got a good point there.
So the Crabbers, of course, will want to win, as will Bethel. And we have seen previously, last year being a perfect example of a situation where the Bethel Bruins couldn't go any further. They weren't going to do any postseason play, but they still upset the Hampton Crabbers last year in the big show-off between these 2 games.
And don't you know, Tim, Hampton is aware of that fact. Mike Smith and his coaching staff are not going to let their young men take that game lightly because you're going into the playoffs. You do not want to go into the playoffs with a loss over your head. So they're going to go in there with their heads up and with an idea they got to win the ball game to keep their momentum going.
There you saw and continue to see Coach Kozlowski as he's being consoled, and unfortunately for the Bruins, they will not see postseason play. Let's wrap up real quickly. The final stats here are compliments of Jerry the Z. First downs have Bethel with 15-12 for Ferguson. Total yards 239. The stats are just as close as the final score was. And let's break into that right now as we go down, and AG has quarterback Brian Gwaltney.
Brian, just before we close out, I know it's a disappointing loss for you, but what went wrong on the offense today?
Well, a lot of line, we didn't execute our plays, like we should have done.
You aired out a few times today, had some great completions out there.
Yeah, I just, receivers, well, we know when they want to open or something, I just look for the open man.
Okay.
Reading the defense.
All right, good game, Brian. Good luck next week.
All right, thank you.
All right, Brian Gwaltney. Thank you.
That's tough to talk to these young men, Tim, and it shows a lot of character to be able to stand there and talk about the ball game, and you're disappointed because of the loss.
Well, the Bethel Bruins are, of course, very disappointed. AG has been talking with some of them, and your point is well taken. Just to give you some of the individual stats while we compile our final stats for the game. Corey Hodge, 24 carries, 109 yards, for the Bethel Bruins. Steve Hodges had 2 carries for 40 yards. And on the other side of the ledger, Cobb on 18 carries had 90 yards for the Mariners. 41 yards for Kevin White on 7 carries. A -1 for Harrell, but that was not where his expertise came in. He was the general on the field and did the passing and completions when he needed them. And Patrick had 14 yards individually. And our final stats, as you'll see them, Bruins 15 first downs, 12 for the Mariners. 157 yards for the Bruins on the ground, and for the Mariners almost 200, 195 to be exact. Yards passing, the Bruins with 82, most of those coming in the second half when they desperately were trying to get back in the game. The Mariners only 6 yards passing, which is a total flop in their
yes, it really is, Tim.
game plan from previously in the early part of the year. Total yards, as I mentioned before, 38 yards difference for the Bruins, actually getting more total yardage than the Mariners. Pass completions, Bruins, again, most of those in the second half when they were behind, 7 out of 16, only 1 of 4 for the Mariners. Interceptions for the Bruins, they had 1, a crucial interception. Second half, 3 turnovers, all leading to scores by the Mariners, and that really was the story of the game. Third down conversions, there you see that. The penalties, not a great deal of penalties. Mariners 6 for 45, 2 for 10 yards for Bethel, and the time of possession, the Mariners ending up with about 11 minutes more time of possession in the ball game. So that's going to wrap it up for us. Bob, any final comments?
Now, Tim, I was very surprised at the outcome. I knew it was going to be a close game, as the statistics showed, but I didn't think that the Bruins would turn the ball over, in which they did, and they started off the very first play of the second half, and they fumbled on the kickoff, and the Mariners went down and scored, and it took a lot of wind out of the sails, as you was talking about. You get the team all pumped up, this is what we're going to do offensively, and then all of a sudden you don't have the ball and you don't get to execute, and you're now down by 7 more or 6 more points than you were before. Coach Kynes gets a lot out of his young men, and he'll have them up for that Hampton game next week. So, I invite all the fans to get out there to Todd Stadium next Saturday afternoon, November the 5th at 2 o'clock.
All right, and that game will match up the 7-0 Hampton Crabbers and the 5-2 Bethel Bruins. Again, reminding you the final score from Armstrong Field, 23 for the Mariners, 21 for the Bethel Bruins. For Bob Hinson, A.G. Womble, and the entire crew, thanks for watching. Good afternoon, everybody.